IVM.
Welcome everyone, this is Shootball Season 2, Episode 8, as I've been corrected by Karthik. What a fantastic weekend this has been for Biden supporters, and not such a great week for Arsenal supporters. We call this episode Bewaqoof. That's because a lot of wise people have said a lot of things, especially the three of us on this podcast for the past over 1 year. But this episode is named after what Roy Keane actually called Kyle Walker, which is an idiot, which is what Arteta called 11 of his players after the match. So this is a dedication to all the idiots, including the three of us. Shiva, how are you feeling? Let's not talk about anything else. How are you feeling right now?
Why aren't we calling it the three idiots if it's about us?
Because we don't repeat ourselves. As I said before, we don't repeat ourselves.
Achha, you repeated it. Achha, very good, very good. No, I'm feeling just fine. We're 11th in the table. We'll talk about the other teams above us, not below us, I'm guessing, on this episode. So we'll stick to that. But overall, I think it's a bad week for Arsenal because they lost horribly to Aston Villa at home. Let's not get into home form because we have many things to talk about there also. But we'll stick to what we know, which is all the other teams are top of the table. But as an Arsenal fan, I don't feel great. But we will deep dive into that soon after.
Hey, but you should, because last weekend when you got a penalty, you actually converted it. What's up, man? Karthik, how are you feeling about what happened over the weekend?
I'm okay. It's fine.
Karthik's used to it. Shiva is not used to it. Sapre is used to it. We have a lot more to talk about in the Premier League and some random leagues that Karthik follows.
Mix up. They don't know. Narnia.
Some Magar Patta League, something that we also talk about, which we will speak after this very short break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's been a really, really great week on the network. Let me make a couple of recommendations to you guys. Agla Station Adulthood, they have an extraordinary episode on relationships. Ritasha and Ayushi, as always, do a bang-up job. I think you'll really enjoy that conversation. Check out Edges and Sledges, where DJ Ashwin and Varun have been talking to fans from different IPL teams on every episode. It's a really, really interesting project they've taken on during the course of the IPL. And as it comes to a conclusion, I'm sure you'll love to hear the thoughts on the tournament as a whole. I want to mention Uncle Please Sit. They had a really great episode which dove into why is pollution so bad. And I think that given the circumstances we're dealing with right now, it makes a ton of sense to listen to that. Cyrus had a really great week on his show as well. On the Monday episode, he spoke to Raj and DK about all kinds of stuff. He was in one of their early movies. Definitely a fun conversation. Do check that out. And finally, let me talk to you about the Wire Talks with Siddharth Bhatia. We're very excited about this show. On the first episode, Jairam Ramesh is there having a conversation with Siddharth Bhatia about the legacy of Indira Gandhi. I think you will really, really get something out of this. Do give it a listen. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
Shiva, I'm not going to let you go so easily. We need to speak about that horrible, horrible performance.
2 minutes of the podcast are not up. Where is he going? Like, he's right there.
I'm right here.
Okay.
This is not United's chance at the title. I'm still here.
Yeah, well, United players, when they lose, just go away, right? Like, Greenwood still not return. So, but like, horrible performance. Didn't have a shot, right? I wanted to say off target, but then I thought it would have been Laka, not Auba. But Auba didn't have a shot. Laka had some chances, if I may say so.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are chances for sure.
To connect some part of his body to the ball.
He connected. Please get your facts right. He connected. He just didn't connect it in the right direction is what happened. But yeah, if you heard it first, I think this was game week 2 or game week 3 when the three of us said drop Aubameyang. He's not going to get you any more points in FPL. And guess what? His last, of course, the penalty against United, he didn't score. But his last goal that he scored from open play was against Sheffield United, which is eons away in this fixture.
Arsenal haven't scored a goal from open play in some 400 minutes of Premier League action or some jazz like that.
Yeah, 400 minutes is what it feels like every game. So it's not that bad when you think about it.
It does. But do you think Villa, I personally thought Villa played some really good football, especially the front three with with Watkins, and Barkley kind of showed up for the match. He didn't show up for the previous two. So bad luck to Arsenal also.
Oh, I mean, terrible. Not just bad luck. I think the comms also said during the game, if you don't capitalize on the spells you have, because both teams have different spells of time, like one's attacking at some point in time and they do have some chances. If you don't capitalize then, and they were let off with that early VAR decision, right? I mean, Leno wasn't getting to that in any world, but they were let off easy. And then they screwed up one after the other. So it's a comedy of errors is what happened at Arsenal. No disregarding that Villa has turned up in many ways. Ollie Watkins, I honestly thought, and this is possibly a personal opinion, I didn't expect him to have so many goals for over a period of time. And he didn't do very well even after he scored the hat-trick at Liverpool. But he's turned up again. Barkley looks like a new player completely. He was almost playing number 10 yesterday. And Grealish, whatever the right pronunciation is, what I can't pronounce incorrectly is the fact that he's fantastic on the field. Where his socks end, his talent begins. He's too good I think yesterday, not even one Arsenal player I can think of who could compare to Ollie Watkins or Grealish or even Barkley for that matter. Arsenal were all over the field and Villa capitalized so well. Terrible for Arsenal, but fantastic to see Villa do so well. And that breaks, I think, what we think of Villa, and we all have a jaded opinion of these teams, like Everton and Villa and even Southampton for that matter. They are not the same teams, and you can look at the top 10 teams in the table now. They're not the same.
What did you think of the game? You think Villa were far superior, Arsenal were just in shambles, just like this podcast is?
Villa were superior because Arsenal were in shambles.
Vicious circle.
Very nice.
How can you give Willian? Willian gets a 3-year contract. I mean, even Frank Lampard was right about Willian, yeah? And these idiots at Arsenal go and sign him on a 3-year contract. His entire thing went in that first game against Fulham. After that, he hasn't done jack beep. And now Oba has stopped scoring after getting a new contract as well. He's again fleeced this club. So I mean, I'm with you, Sapre. Where do they go from here is beyond me.
Downhill. That's your answer.
Downhill. Yeah. And I think Partey is injured as well. There's something happened to him from what I recently read.
That's because he wanted to miss the interview. Who wants to go back to Ghana, man?
No, fair enough.
I think he got bored or something.
Yeah, he just pretended to be hurt. His feelings were hurt, so he put an ice pack on his chest and he walked off.
Like, imagine standing in the middle of the field and just looking at Laka for 45 minutes. It will drain you out, man.
Before he gets replaced by Nketiah. I mean, next level.
But I'll just tell you something about Aston Villa. I mean, they're what is it? If they win their game in hand, they go top, right? I think that's what it is. They have played one game less and they're 3 points off top of Leicester. So, I mean, that's outstanding. They've beaten Liverpool, they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Leicester 1-0. So, I mean, fair play to them. Their front four, like Siva was saying, is pretty exciting. Barkley, Grealish, what's his name? Ollie Watkins and McGinn, who scored that disallowed. Iniesta, who scored that disallowed goal. So that's fun. But Sapre, this reminded me of something you mentioned on our WhatsApp group. Why do you feel that Grealish will become the next Zaha, always angling for a move but never getting one?
Yeah, I just think the club will want to hold on to him for a while. I mean, United could have bought him this season knowing that the Sancho conversion is not going anywhere, but the price tag was just enormous. For a player who... 80 million what they said. For a player who plays on the left where Rashford typically plays, paying that kind of money for Sancho made sense because United still are looking for the right side forward or inside forward wingers, whatever that it is. But with the performances that he's having, I think Villa will always price him out and he'll end up becoming a Zaha. Like Arsenal has been trying to get Zaha, and Zaha has been vocal about wanting to move out of Palace. But that's why I feel.
But the difference is Zaha did have his chance once upon a time at Manchester United. I think he was Ferguson's last signing or something of that sort. There is
but he's at a bigger club now.
A club that crystal in the name.
Correct. And Palace. We just have a theatre. They have a palace. That's the difference. Plus, past 2 seasons they've been comfortably brushing United away. So I think he's just playing in a better team. But I hope...
Didn't you lose to the 3-1 motion?
Yeah, that's right. On the opening day of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
At the Theatre of Dreams. So that is just poetic.
So that's that. But yeah, I think Grealish has been has just been fabulous. With Barkley coming in, I believe a lot of this creative responsibility that Grealish had on him, not that he's not capable of, but Barkley's kind of sharing it. It's also in Barkley's interest to perform well. वो Terry जाके बोलता रहेगा, I'm sure to Lampard everything what he does in training and all.
It's in their WhatsApp group.
Yeah, the reason why he went to Aston Villa, I'm sure Lampard and Terry spoke before. देख ले इसको base growth first. When you, I don't know, when people in your native village, cousins who are sent to big city, similar thing has happened.
Yes.
But talking about fantastic performers, what happened with that penalty by Lookman, dude? How disappointing was that? Or are you okay because you've seen worse penalties before in the Premier League? Or
I don't think there has been a worse penalty than that.
Or you're just okay because, it's Fulham. What more can you expect?
Yeah, but there are two things here. That was pissing off the penalty. We should have got a point. The thing is, there are about 5 clubs that are absolute shit in this division. So I still have hope that if we finish not in the 3 bottom of the 5 shit clubs, we're still outside the relegation zone as we speak. So it's fine. And the other thing is, because these referees seem to be giving penalties left, right and center this season, it is important now that you start scoring it. You're not getting 1 every 8 games. You're probably getting 1 every 2.
Why wouldn't you let Mitrovic take it?
I think something he said, he was feeling a niggle on his upper thigh or some... And let's be honest. Mitrovic missed the previous one the week 2 weeks before. So it's not like he's perfect. He's missed 5 out of his last 11. That's horrible. Yeah, that's for club and country.
He's a top performer.
Yeah, that's a horrible conversion rate. So you need to find someone else to take penalties. And I think this is for every club because you're going to get at least 20 a season minimum.
Yeah, I would draw your attention to the table. Bottom is Sheffield United with 1 point. Burnley is 19th with 2 points.
Correct.
West Brom is 18th with 3 points. And Fulham, clear of the relegation table, is with 4 points. So
early season form.
Yeah,
and who's the 5th club on 6? Bournemouth.
Bournemouth is not in the Premier League.
What next?
Yeah. Brighton.
Brighton is with 6 points. So they're 2 points ahead.
And then after that it goes to 10. So we can forget about the rest. So these are the five crap clubs, and they're going to fight relegation. So I still have hope. We're not like being cast adrift like how Norwich were last season. We're all together in this same.
It's all relative. I really appreciate that perspective. That is, I did not think of it like that. I think that is a great perspective. It's the argument of when 2 friends are running away from the bear, they don't have to be the first to beat the bear. They have to be the first to beat their friend because the bear is going to get to the friend first. So I like that mentality. Very good.
Remind me never go to a national park with you ever.
Because I can't run faster than you.
Enough of bear and bulls. We're not getting any money from Sony Live right now. But I don't think you should feel bad about the fact that he missed a penalty. Actually, you should feel bad about the fact not that he didn't score, the way he took it. But then there are other fabulous players who missed their penalties this week. One of them was Kevin De Bruyne. That goal could have absolutely changed the momentum.
So tell me something. About this De Bruyne penalty. So, just to recap, Liverpool took the lead. City came back. Excellent goal by Jesus. And then City had the chance to go 2-1 up. So is it worse, to miss a penalty, like it completely going off the mark, like how De Bruyne did, like completely wide of the target, or at least have it hit the target and saved by the keeper?
Wait, sorry. Are you drawing a comparison between Lookman's penalty?
No. I realize that sounds a little stupid, but at least Lookman hit the target.
Okay, I'll tell you what hitting the target means, okay? I have, like, when we would still play football, we play against a Japanese team in Bombay. Japanese actually have a fantastic community. It's very imaginatively called Bombay Japan team. And we've never lost against them. And we've played them at least 20-30 times in the last 3-4 years. The last time we played them, and this was 11-a-side, 90 minutes, in the 91st minute, we were 2-2 and I got a penalty. Right? There is no other way. And very similar situation, right? Because not like at least we were going for the win, these guys were going for the draw. At no point in time in my head did I ever even assume that I would try a Panenka. And that could be just me. But the fact that I want to at least hit the target, which is the most important thing when you're taking a penalty, because it also increases the chances that, maybe hit the keeper and it comes back or something.
I completely agree with you. So De Bruyne's is much worse. It just went wide.
Yeah, so I don't know what he was thinking, and I think they need to find. You're absolutely right. You need to find a professional. Someone just needs to practice penalties all time, every time in the week, so that when it happens, they can finish it.
Yeah, that's a very bad idea, by the way. No reason why any club should consider that. But what do you think about the game? I thought it was a stunning game. At least the first half was fantastic.
First half only, right?
Fulham game, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Fulham, actually, I love the Fulham game because the amount of chances.
The opposition had.
West Ham had against right from the first minute.
They were hitting the post so many times, left, right, and center. It was
Lookman couldn't even hit the post. The other team was hitting the post quite often.
Oh my God!
No, but about the City Pool game, I think better for Pool because I think
but when you say fun game, it was first half fun and second half absolutely awful, right? Like it was.
Yeah, terrible. But my thinking is the injury to Trent. Now they have 2 first-team defenders out. So they were a little more cautious. And secondly, I think Liverpool were okay with the draw, considering City is the closest competitor they would have for the...
closest competitor. Liverpool are 3rd, City are 10th.
2 matches against United are yet to happen. Wait. For both teams. So they lost.
That's true. Good point.
Lot of chances to score. I thought it was a good game. Good for Liverpool. But that brings me to the point of the 3 subs versus 5 subs, right? And I think Guardiola and Klopp spoke about... I'm sure they spoke about something else after the post-match. I think Guardiola just it up and saying, no, you spoke about the subs and everything else. But...
Is that how you think Guardiola speaks?
No, I don't know how he speaks really. All I've seen is him shouting on when I was watching All or Nothing. Sometimes I thought he's shouting at me also. But never mind. But I was reading an article, a bunch of people, journalists actually, were asked, what do you think about this rule? And most of them agreed with the fact that Premier League is doing the right thing with not allowing 5 subs. It's had a disproportionate advantage to the top teams. I personally don't agree. I think it's also protecting the players and their top players. And 5 subs is not going to make that drastic a difference because if you're losing a game, you'll get your best subs in the first.
I mean, for United, if you have 5 subs, you're going to bring on Timothy Fosu-Mensah. Is that going to really benefit United?
Sorry, then he's going to start first.
Yes, he starts.
So dare you say that about ex-Crystal Palace player?
If we have 5 subs, we might just get Van de Beek off the bench.
I'll tell you the 2 repercussions. One is, देखो वैक्सीन तो आ गया है, ठीक है, तो अभी ये सब भूल जाओ, ये सब कल की बातें थी, ठीक है, so don't worry, everything going to be okay very soon. That may or may not be true. I don't know if Twitter will put like a headline below that.
But here's the deal, Shivram. Apparently, this is just an excuse. The pandemic is just an excuse to make 5 subs a permanent thing for the rest of football, the rest of football history. Future.
Okay, but Karthik, see, Pep Guardiola is complaining about not having 5 subs. If with having 3 subs, he's making 1 substitution.
Correct.
So, I mean...
Klopp made 1 substitution actually in the entire match.
No, Klopp made 1 and Pep also made 1. He just got on Bernardo Silva, right? Foden didn't come on eventually.
Yeah, Foden didn't come on.
So who came on? Sub?
They were worried, और injuries हो गया तो क्या होगा?
अरे 2 तो करो.
1-1 will just pick to end of story. Next time we'll see. Interesting.
But I think their main issue was with scheduling and kind of I don't agree with these two. I agree with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he said United can't be playing on a Wednesday night and for some reason a Saturday, some lunchtime in the UK kickoff. At least play a nice night game. Nah. Like, what is this lunchtime kickoff at 5 o'clock our time?
Sometimes they start drinking during the game and all that.
but that's not the first time it's happened. I think every manager who's played Champions League with his team has complained about fixture.
So you're saying United are not used to that feeling of playing in the Champions League and then
actually this is the first time the people were willing to listen to what Ole is saying post-match. So he took the opportunity and said what he really had to. You might know. I mean, there was no big strategic shift that he brought to the game for that win against Everton. We've anyway spoken without Richarlison. Everton aren't the team.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, because we won't get anywhere with this. Shivram here is the fittest among all of us. Okay, but we'll go one better. Okay. For our next week, because we're having a break, we'll get someone who's played a sport for India onto this podcast. And considering he's a pro athlete at level, we're assuming that his fitness should be good.
We can ask him this question.
Yeah. We can ask him this question and he's a big football fan as well.
Fantastic. I love the idea. Yeah, we'll actually have a real answer for once.
Because here, I think Shivram's word maybe goes the best. You and I...
He's disappeared.
I think it makes sense to bring some depth to this podcast.
So we'll ask an actual pro athlete how fitness, recovery, etc. works.
That's a good way. Well done, Karthik. No, very unlike Lookman. Very unlike
Okay, so talking about 1-goal victories, Spurs, again, a late 1-0
So lucky, man. Mourinho has some shit on everyone, I think.
But the question is, how will that luck last for the next 3 matches? They're playing City, Chelsea and a London derby with the former best defense in the league. Of Arteta. How long is this going to last? They're the top 4 right now? They're second, third?
Yeah, they were top in the table for a bit before Leicester went back on top.
They're second right now.
So they're second and Liverpool, I think, are third.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and this was amazingly, so I didn't know this. When Tottenham went top for a little bit between when the matches were happening, it was the first time since before Pochettino. So how much ever we praise Pochettino, even for a split second, he never took Tottenham top of the table.
Mourinho quickly took snapshot sent on family WhatsApp.
He's going to put that on every part of his all or nothing shelf.
So, but they're playing 3 tough teams. They also have a tricky fixture against Palace after Arsenal. So I don't know. I don't see them getting a lot of points over the next 4 games.
Yeah.
And
which is why it makes great FPL sense to drop Son and get Bruno Fernandes.
Absolutely. I think Kane will still score and he takes penalties. So on FPL standpoint, it makes sense for you to retain Kane. Yeah. But they aren't playing great football. I hope probably Bale will get a lot more chances over the next 3-4 games. Because Wales to वैसे भी क्या होगा? Wales manager is anyways not.
He's not. I don't know. Not allowed by the court to travel, or have decided by himself, quote unquote, that I will stay back. But
what is the deal with Wales? What are they trying to qualify for? I think Com said something.
The Euros, right?
Aren't the qualifications finished?
They may be. So they may be in the playoffs, and also, sorry, Shivram, the Nations League is going on. That's a tournament by itself. Yeah.
They're also qualifying for respect within the European Union. So.
I don't think Bale can help. Bale can help there.
Oh, they all love to play golf. Apparently, they have some golf course built around the stadium for Bale. I think so much of bending over backwards.
You're confusing it with White House, Baba.
Yeah.
I think Spurs will drop some points.
I hope they do, man. Enough.
I think you're being very negative on Spurs. Yeah, I think they will challenge for the title, and I mentioned this 3 months ago. Yeah, that Spurs will challenge. I think you're being extreme. That you're saying, when will this run end? Sapre, the run has just started. Remember that West Ham game where they completely effed up, where they were 3-0 up and then 3-3. After that, they've been eking out these late goals and getting these 1-0 victories in the Premier League. Don't go look at the Europa League results and come back to me saying, okay, it's only
I'm just going to come back to you with facts.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they have a good enough side, and they have 2 of the most informed attackers in the league, and their defense is fairly decent. So I don't see how Crystal Palace poses a challenge to Tottenham.
Zaha, what do you think? Anyway.
So Karthik is pro Spurs.
Yes.
I am anti Mourinho, and Shivram is anti Spurs. So that's
anti Mourinho.
Anti Mourinho.
I'm all for all or nothing. All I am against. Spurs and Mourinho.
These are the people that you have to listen to on the podcast. Fantastic. So no matches for the next 2 weeks. This is like boredom going to set in for a while. But yeah, I'm sure I'll focus on work a little. That's something I should be doing.
You can pretend to make changes in your FPL squad and just go back, which is what we usually do anyway.
So
even the IPL ends. So there's literally nothing to.
Isn't there a race next weekend?
Yeah, there must be. I think even race is taking a 2-week break, Shivram. Yes, last week they mentioned after 2 weeks, which probably means 3.
Oh, amazing. So basically no sport.
Nothing. No.
Basically back-to-back Big Boss. That's what's going to keep me busy.
Back to back, big boss.
Let's talk about the other thing that I excelled at. Second week running is Fantasy Premier League. Shivam, this is your domain. Karthik is absolutely not part of this conversation. He should just. I don't know what.
He's checking his team. 1 second.
You'll start the conversation. I will join you.
He's had Edison as captain in one of the games. He's had Trent Alexander-Arnold as captain in this previous game. I mean, इतना क्या risk यार? इतना क्या differential risk?
हर्षद मेहता बन गए तुम तो बिल्कुल podcast के. But हर्षद मेहता made money.
But no. Karthik's in this for the long run. So
how many years is this?
सरकार जब वर्ल्ड बैंक से कर्जा लेता है और 60 years you have to pay me 5.5%.
हाउसिंग लोन बढ़ जाएगा इसका, लेकिन ये गेम नहीं जीतेगा. कार्तिक,
but no.
So at least I'm happy that I have a red sign next to me. That means I've dropped, which meant that the previous weekend I went up. So
no, you just dropped further.
Oh, that right.
A red can be.
Yeah, the red can be that as well. Shit, I didn't think of it.
There can be 2 reds back to back, or 3 or 4.
Now you've upset me, Shivram.
I'm sorry.
Hey, no. Look at the bright side, Karthik. There's always next year.
Or many years.
And many more. You're so young.
Yeah. Your eyesight is still holding. Good change.
So how was FPL for you? What changes did you make? Did you benefit from it?
Very average. I just made the one change. I got Zuma. Of course, Chelsea conceded exactly at the right point in time. I just got 60 points. How much did you get? You had a fantastic game.
I had a lovely game. I got 79 points.
Fantastic.
The only change I made was I got Pulisic out and I got Ziyech in. Ziyech. Karthik, how are we pronouncing it?
Z. Yeah. Z.
Yeah, I don't know. Ziyech, both. Yeah.
With that expert opinion, let's keep going.
What 2 players, Ziyech and Z?
Quickly talk about the league before we go back to Sapre,
yes,
because we'll save the tips for a minute. The league's actually lighting up. Drizzy, you guys know Ankit Kinney. Dude, he's back on top, 542. He's the Leicester of this league. So well done.
Nice.
That makes Kurugami, who won't tell us what it means. He's the Tottenham, 75 points. Past the Beak is still on top. I don't know how these guys continue to do so well. Josefa is number 3. Cruel Intentions, my favorite team name, is number 4. Hassan Patel, 74 points. Very well done. Number 5 is Karthik's favorite team, Bharatiya Janata Party, Karan Babla, 62 points, 532 overall. Incredibly well done. Salman Bhai deservedly has fallen. Please change the team name. There is no way of getting better otherwise. I am some 90s something. Where are you, Sapre?
I am 49th, very close to how old I am. So,
so come on, give us now. You're the tip master. Tell us, Harshad, what should we invest in?
Yeah, I only have one tip: is don't change your team before the international break. There might be some injuries, so please beware. Don't just randomly use wildcard just because you have it. I am an expert on wildcards, so when I say hear me out. That's my only tip. I think the players that you really want to take in the team have already gone through price rises.
Yeah.
So you can hold on for a while. Don't jump into any changes.
I love it. Sapre has been tracking this. See, the better you do, the higher your interest is. Which is why Fulham is not interested at all.
So let's go on quickly. Karthik, at least give out the code, man. At least you'll be 230th in 400 people, right? Or you're 238 in 250 people. So give out the code.
You're right. I should have at least prepared the code to contribute to this discussion, but I'm sorry, I didn't even do that.
It's absolutely fine. We can help you out. It's H3OMYA. That's H3OMYA. Go to fantasy.premierleague.com. Type in the code and you can join the Shootball Fantasy League as well. Come beat Karthik with all of us. Not in person, of course. We want to keep social distance, maybe with a 6-foot pole. But before we move on to other stuff, we will take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Don Bradman, and now Cyrus Brocha. Okay, probably not in the right company. I mean, Don Bradman is Australian. But it's called Cyrus Says, a wonderful show about everything. Find the show on the IVM Podcast app, ivmpodcast.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Okay, we are back. Karthik might not know a lot about FPL, but he does know about the Bundesliga. which is something that happens in Europe. So Karthik is going to talk about Bundesliga and some Soria. What do you, Karthik?
That was good. I'll give you that. The best game of the weekend was in the Bundesliga. Yeah, Der Klassiker, Bayern Munich beat Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, very obvious, 3-2. But it was a fun game, and Kimmich is injured, so that could be an issue.
Moving forward. Lewandowski scored.
Lewandowski did. He always scores against. Haaland scored, Marco Reus, Lewandowski, and I forget now who else.
Yeah. Did Jadon Sancho score?
Jadon Sancho didn't score. This guy. Leroy Sané is doing well. Yeah, that was a superb goal. Yes, he did. But another fun game and a video that everyone should go out and check was in Bayer Leverkusen's 4-2 victory over Mönchengladbach. The third goal for Gladbach, it was a consolation, but my God, that Scorpion kick, Valentino Lazaro, outstanding. You all have seen it, right?
Giroud, almost as good as
and Giroud had a lovely one that way.
Everyone remembers only Giroud. No one remembers Mkhitaryan who got it the week before.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was from a Zlatan Ibrahimovic pass. Both of them who play in Serie A now.
Mkhitaryan scored a hat-trick, that reminds me, over the weekend. In something I don't think he did for either of your two clubs. Did he? Ever?
Against whom?
See, this is a good question.
Roma.
This is
Talk about the La Liga, which is such a spectacular league, and number 2 in that league is led by a team which is led by Unai Emery. Can you tell us more about that?
I can tell you that Real Madrid lost 4-1 to 3 penalties by Carlos Soler. So yeah, that was fun.
Was it playing Barcelona?
No, they were playing Valencia.
But Karthik, tell me one thing. I didn't see the match, and I'm not sorry for that. But I heard this chatter where one of the penalty was retaken because somebody from the opposition side broke the rule.
So some Valencia player himself, Yunus Musa, he came in. It was saved, and then he only scored, but then it was retaken. So even I'm like, what the, your own team is encroaching, and you can't get to take the penalty again. Yeah. That's not right. But then there is this dark corner of Twitter where someone has seen some other Madrid guy encroach. I think Lucas Vazquez. He also had a nail of his toe coming into the penalty area, and so maybe it was fair in that way. But who knows? Who knows? Madrid end up losing 4-1. So whatever pull they had with the VAR and whatever else is done.
But they're anyways a Champions League team, so it's okay.
Doesn't matter.
But what I meant, Juventus actually drew. Juventus drew, Milan drew, Inter drew,
Napoli drew.
Scored one.
Spectacular weekend.
Sassuolo, I think, also drew.
Sassurji, what?
Sassurji also drew. Sassuolo.
But they had a fun game, Juventus versus Lazio, last year's title contenders. That was fun. Lazio, as usual, scoring in the 95th minute. Ronaldo is back. He scored a lovely goal. He had a few more chances as well. But yeah, nice weekend. Yeah,
So you're saying Serie A is getting interesting?
Actually, La Liga is. Sorry, I interrupted myself in that La Liga conversation.
Nice.
It's such a sexy league, man. David Silva is leading Real Sociedad to the top of the table and beyond everyone else. Atletico scored 4 goals with Suarez scoring again. They're doing really well. Barcelona had Messi come on at halftime. And he is such a great player that he didn't even need to touch the ball to cast fear in the defender's eyes, to get a goal scored for Barcelona and to end up winning the game 5-2. That is how good Messi is. He doesn't even need his foot on the ball. So, yeah, I think if there are any arguments, they can be brushed aside after his one-half performance versus Real Betis.
I'm like Ansu Fati's future.
Ansu Fati Pochap is hurt for 4 months.
But Dembele is fit, surprisingly, and he's scoring surprisingly. Right? Yeah, that's good.
Don't say it, Sapre. Don't say it. You know problem is going to happen. The moment you say fit to him, it's a big issue.
I'll never say a word against Dembele because, this club that I support was trying to get into some conversation with Barcelona, and so I would never want him to.
Wait till the end of the year. There'll be a garage sale there. Don't worry. You can take everything. You can take the music also they have.
I think on the second day, I think Messi is nice to be on the bench so that Griezmann can finally score a fucking goal for Barcelona. And he's playing his former team next. So it's like Suarez versus Griezmann. And with Felix and Messi stealing the show. This is, I think, what's going to happen.
Suarez is already top scorer.
And it's set up for a perfect 0-0, no? Like, it'll be so awfully bad that...
La Liga was the best league or something you were saying.
It's entertaining because, I mean, that's a... Valencia beating Madrid is a freak result. Like, Valencia are awful, god-awful.
But aren't players... Atletico haven't lost this season, so 0-0 is still a possibility, of course, or a draw. But they're getting 3 players back from injury. One of them is Diego Costa. I think Vitolo is also back from injury, and there's probably one more player I don't know. So it's gonna be an interesting.
Yeah, Sapre, you follow Atletico, no? That Torreira is playing damn well. Yeah, Lucas Torreira, Shivram's ex, is playing really well.
He's always a very good player. I even liked him even at Arsenal.
That's true.
But
That's
somehow
true.
he just doesn't fit.
And he just, you picture players to certain clubs and managers. Torreira for Simeone and Atletico just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, is there the little bulldog running around for Simeone? It's perfect.
Don't you say that? How dare you say that, yeah?
I went to the vet over the weekend.
Okay.
I saw this grey color bulldog. My God, it was gorgeous, man. But it was so calm. You know, it was beautiful pup. And I had my dog with me. And my dog, I think, got angry. And she just whacked that bulldog. I ran away from there before being banned and all. Because you get banned if things like this happen. So,
oh, really? You get banned for what your dogs do?
Yeah, you have to control them. None. I was just thinking they won't do anything. This guy just raised one paw and fatak on that beautiful grey color coat of the bulldog.
I think it digressed from La Liga to...
I didn't apologize, yeah. So if that person is listening in, she had a Haryana number plate. If you're listening in, I'm sorry. Sorry for Laika's behavior.
Laika had some... Okay, we'll take this offline.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's her fault. It's you are paying more attention to another dog.
Correct.
So, I mean, what else do you expect, yeah?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
That is what. So, are we done with all these random fantasy leagues in Europe? There is one massive league in India coming up called ISL. Karthik, have you heard about it?
Yeah.
Is that...
Can you tell us about it? Because we haven't. I'm glad you have heard about it.
The only thing I hear is this poor triad marketing which says, "Arey, game khatam nahi hua, football aane wala hai." Arey, why can't it be just independently football, man? Why does it have to rest upon... Acha, IPL nahi hai, so don't stop watching. Watch this also. Why is it more like a play as opposed to come watch ISL? That is my biggest bone to pick. Other than that Tammy Kaizu shit, where it's stereotypical as hell, where the girlfriends don't let you watch football. I don't know what the hell is on.
Yeah, what a sad ad that is, yeah. And now they've come up with... the second ad was at least he was wearing an Arsenal jersey and saying E08 team play. Now it's a random jersey and saying E08
It's not a jersey, it's a black t-shirt.
Yeah, it's a black, it's not even a jersey. Itna budget cover you do for free, I don't know what.
Oh my God, Ghamasan, Yudh, chal.
Karthik, what's happening? Should we look forward to the ISL? Anything interesting this time? Is some top player from... Is Igalo
I think the biggest story is both these Mohan Bagan and East Bengal are coming to the ISL. So
Robbie Fowler.
Yeah, so that will be fun. We'll see how it pans out because I haven't heard or read too much about exact dates and it's all going to be held in Goa. But that's pretty much it. All the teams are there. All the teams are set. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you
football ka UAE is Goa.
Pretty much.
Yes, where the trains actually go. The group has taken over Mumbai FC. So
thank you for bringing us stories from 2 years ago, Shivram. That is.
It's just come up with their marketing, yeah.
This was ISL Rewind. This section is called ISL.
Pretty much, and I have another nice story from the ISL. The taxi union of Goa, because they're such nice, friendly people. Everyone will know who has been to Goa. They're awesome. They never fleece you. They have a problem with ISL teams traveling in their private buses because they're not getting taxi. Correct. In only Goa, that union is there.
Correct.
Their buses and cars and whatever. So that fight may happen at some point.
I'm very interested in that. Please keep us updated. The next time. What is the next step?
On behalf of the podcast, I request you to keep us.
Don't leave, Karthik. It's a conspiracy.
No. So what has happened is, as we're recording, Trailblazers have beaten the Supernovas by 16 runs to win the Women's T20 Challenge. So
congratulations to the Trailblazers.
Trailblazers led by Smriti Mandhana, who is, she's awesome. So and I have one more thing, because y'all were acting very funny over the weekend and listeners don't know this, but these two guys were going at it like two bulldogs. Not like the nice one I saw, but like it's too hairy, old ones. Because of Aston United, I don't know, they didn't have this kind of rivalry when the actual match was going on. Some random Villa game and all, Sapre is acting
cool.
You know, yeah.
11th versus 14th is the biggest rivalry that we can have. Okay, so.
But I want to close that by saying that I think United won the rivalry for this weekend, simply because in the Women's Super League, Manchester United went top of the table. Ella Toone scored for United versus Arsenal for a 1-0 victory. And Arsenal, both you guys know, have an awesome WSL side. So United are on the up there. So, yeah.
Yeah, best club on top. Why is it? That's not a surprise to anybody, is it?
It's news to a United fan is the funniest thing.
So are we going to ignore what Shiva said? And on that note, that's the episode for you. We have international football. If you guys are interested in watching random players playing for their nations.
I mean, you never know if we have it, because as we record, most countries are saying stopping players from going anywhere. So either they're going to play FIFA or there'll be very, very few.
That would be good. Twitch you can watch.
Correct. Because I don't like, for example, even the smallest thing, like in England, 5 Danish players play or Swedish players play in England. Lindelof. He's not going to be allowed to play his Sweden's game versus Denmark. So, yeah. I don't know how.
Pretty loss for international football.
So if that doesn't happen, the leagues will definitely be on a break till the weekend of 22nd of November.
Yeah, imagine. I was telling someone else this, Sapre. Inter Milan, as you know, have now have won only 1 out of the last 8 or something. Imagine and Italy have now banned travel. So all Serie A players have to stay there. Imagine being stuck with Conte for 2 weeks after performing so badly.
I know, man. That's going to be a difficult thing. But then they have some fantastic players there with like fabulous first touch who will get time to recover. And I hope Inter come back. I think they're not playing as good as they ideally should be. But that's about it. That's for the pod. We are going to spend time playing FIFA, watching Big Boss, and actually focusing on work as well, because we're professionals and this doesn't make us any money. You guys tell us what you guys are going to be busy doing.
And if you own a company, you can change the fact that we don't make money out of this. Sponsorship is available on the IVM network.
Absolutely right. So we'll look out for that.
Or just send it to us. Like, you can message me on Twitter. I'll give you my bank account.
Why?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes,
you get good scratch cards also.
No, I'll personally comment also. I have nothing else to do over the next 2 weeks. So see you soon, guys. Be safe. And what does Salman say?
अपने माता पिता से प्यार करो ना, but don't give them corona.
Oh God.
So if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media handles. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I'm Fickleberry Hun on Twitter and Instagram. That's Huckleberry Finn, but Fickle.
If you want to reach out to me, I am Sapre on Twitter and Sapre on Instagram.
You can reach out to me at IRANT, which is IYERANT on Twitter and Instagram. This is Football Shootball. Recognize.
Are you looking for India's most awesome cricket podcast? Are you now tired of listening to the same old guys drone on about cricket everywhere? Edges and Sledges is a weekly cricket podcast hosted by 3 fans of the game, Varun, DJ, and myself, Ashwin. It was established in early 2018, has over 60 episodes now, and is of course now proud to be on the IVM Podcast Network. Each week, we get together from 3 different time zones, the USA, the UK, and Singapore, and we talk about things from the world of cricket, with a focus on Indian cricket. We often interview special guests from all around the world, including former cricketers and cricket media personalities. So check out Edges and Sledges, the cricket podcast, now on the IVM network.
Whether you're an established sports person or a budding one, or simply a sports enthusiast, join us, Tanvi and Shlok.
We are 2 passionate pro badminton players talking policy, mindset and everything sport.
So tune in to The Millennial Athlete every Monday.
Only on the IVM Podcast Network.
Trust us, it's gonna be lit.